All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the XYXX podcast.
XYXX.
I am in a brand new set. It is just me today. When I was thinking about coming back, I was thinking about how resilient this podcast has been. When I first started in 2021, it was the beginning of the downfall of a friendship that I had with my first co-host. And then for season 2, I think my laptop broke. And then I got fired from my job for the things that I was talking about. Apparently, corporate America doesn't like when you talk about your sexual experiences or yeast infections. They were really mad about that. And then, as you can see, my co-host Viviana is not here today because she decided to pursue her dream of moving to the West Coast. She was actually here yesterday and we did get to see each other, but she won't be on every episode, but she will be in the future. And so when I was thinking about what it is that I want to talk about on the podcast from now on, being that, if I'm being honest, I'm traumatized. My brother and I had a little heart-to-heart action, and he was basically like, this show is about you, and people tune in because of you, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable but not expose your business. This is the part that I struggle with, is like the word vomit aspect of it. Let's cheers to a brand new season of just more important stories and finding myself outside of a co-host and just finding myself in this space in general with just me and you. If you're listening in your car, it's just me and you, and I'm gonna try and be as vulnerable as possible. So cheers to that. Cheers me, babe. Ooh. Okay. I was thinking about what I've been through in the past year and maybe talking about that a little bit. Obviously, before I used to talk about my sex life and my dating life and just relationships in general, maybe a little bit messy, having people on that I knew would spark people's attention, but not really about me and what I have going on. So in the past year, I got into a relationship, a beautiful, loving relationship. And so I do feel like I owe you guys just a little bit because I've been so private about it. But essentially, I met a man, an amazing man, that it was literally like magnets. That's what I like to say. When we first met, it was very instantaneous. Literally, our first date was amazing. And then our second date, he was meeting my parents at Christmas. And this will be our third Christmas together. And then within a few months, we started living together. And so that's a whole different ball game. I mean, obviously I've had situationships in the past. I've talked about sleeping over men's house and men sleeping over my apartment and it getting way too far. But living with a person is just so different. I mean, as much as you love someone and you're like, this is my person, obviously there's gonna be things that come into play. Like, I have my own routine and he had his own routine. And so we were long distance at first and then we moved in pretty quickly. And so obviously when you let someone into your space, it's always gonna be a big change. And so that for me was how do I stay my Aquarius, airy, individual self that has been so deep-rooted in my routine, but also make him feel welcomed because he was moving from out of state for us to be together. And so that has been a whirlwind, but we're definitely past that part. And also I've been focusing on the gym and my discipline. I want to stand up, but I don't know how far this goes, but I've been in the gym working on my fitness. And so I've been working on my routine, been focusing on school. I'm back in school, which is ridiculous. I already have my bachelor's degree, but I'm in a space now that pays for my new degree. And so when I was younger, I remember I said I wanted to get my doctorates. And so I'm gonna see how far I can get. Right now I'm doing my master's, and it was very random. I literally submitted my application the day it was due at 11:58. Classic Amy, to be honest with you. But now I'm in school, so I'm managing that. And so the pod, where does that fit into this? So I love this new set. Shout out Need to Know Studios. Shout out Savon. We're in Brooklyn today. And so here's where I am dropping a little bomb. So this year, been dealing with a lot of family issues, okay? As you guys have known for all these years, I am a huge family person. And so this year has been a little bit different. My family's been very divided. Essentially, my sister and I haven't spoken in about a few months. We got into a feud, a family feud, and nobody wins when the family feuds. That's what Jay-Z said. And potentially he's in some hot fire. So who is he for us to listen to? But anyways, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna get into what happened, but I will say to my sister that I miss you, bitch. And that's the honest truth. I'm not gonna tear up. I feel my eyes welling up, but I'm gonna keep it under control. I miss my sister. Shit happens. And we gotta move on. We gotta learn from our mistakes. That's what I'll take from this. We have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to move forward. There's literally no point in holding on to negativity. I'm a sensitive Sally. Let me have a drink. Let me just pause for 1 second. So, anyways, yeah, there's too much negativity in the world. Like, not to get into politics or anything like that, but like, and not even to get into what side to choose, although y'all know what side I'm on. There's just a lot of negativity in the world. And like, I find myself, like, specifically in the past few weeks, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to get off my phone. If I go on Twitter, I'm looking at Cardi B and Nicki Minaj fighting, and then I go on Instagram and I see this man was just shot on a school campus. It's freaking ridiculous. And so there's too much negativity in the world. And what I want to say out of that is just, we need to bring back research. We need to bring back facts. We need to question things. And we need to be careful what we're cultivating in our brain. Be careful what you are cultivating. Sometimes we get wrapped up in maybe things that we want, maybe things that we wish were a certain way, and we don't realize that we're feeding this negativity in our brain, and then we go on our phones and it's feeding the negativity in our brain even more. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. We gotta fight the bad with the good. And so in the mornings now, I've been reading the word, Jesus' word, specifically because I'm Christian, but Muhammad too, everyone. Yeah, we just need to fight the power. That's all I'm saying. And so, and we need to do what's best for us. You know, sometimes we're in situations that, like, we've invested a lot of emotional labor, or maybe we'd just rather not be alone with the chaos in our brains. And so we continue to be in situations that we shouldn't be. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's a friendship that's shitty, but beneficial, maybe. I'm talking about my past. And so knowing what's best for you and going with that gut. Do you guys know I lost my job the very next day? I posted a video on TikTok, went viral. And then I wrote in my journal that night and I said, God, I don't know what is the purpose of this, I don't know what is the reason, but I'm ready to accept whatever is for me. And the very next day I met my man. Well, I saw him on Hinge, and then we started talking. And yes, I was on a dating app, but also, why was he? You know, that is the question. And so you just never know. Sometimes you got to go through the negative to get to the positive. So this is me telling you guys, it's time for the transition. Yeah, that's right. I am here to tell you that you were meant to hear this, and that this is the time for your transition. Should we get into some hot topics? Hot topics. I'm just kidding. This hot topics, I can't. I was thinking that because my brother's like, why don't you talk about pop culture? Maybe that would be a good shift. Why don't you talk about what's going on? And I am on social media a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like I am addicted to my phone just a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. My screen time hours are, I'm not gonna say that, like, on the record, but it is a little bit out of control. And if I saw your story within the first 40 seconds, no, I didn't. But yes, that's another part. Why are we so obsessed with what's going on instead of being more disciplined? If you have more discipline in your life, then you will be better off. And that's what I've been working on this entire year. I've been in the gym for over a year and a half, doing my thing, you know, trying my best, just doing my best. That's all you can do. And I'm like, I need to start applying that in different aspects of my life and showing up for myself anytime and every time that I can. And so that's what I'm telling you guys. Instead of, I feel like people don't go clubbing anymore, but instead of drinking every day, and who am I? I mean, I have a cup right here. But instead of drinking all the time with your friends, why don't you ask yourself, is there something better that I could be doing with my time? Why don't you journal? Why don't y'all go outside, go on a walk, and look up at the sky? We don't do that no more. We're just on our phones and worried about what the next person is doing and looking at the next person's highlight reel. My best friend just got married, and I'm talking to my man like, when are we gonna get married? Like, that thought didn't come from myself. Of course, I wanna marry him and have his children. And, you know, just have him by my side forever. But, like, you know, there's just other things that we could both be focusing on right now so that we could be the best version of ourselves for that version of ourselves. You know what I mean? And another thing, you're always saying, this is me projecting. Yeah, you're always saying, no, this is me. But people in general will be like, oh, 10 years from now, I'm gonna own a house. I'm gonna do whatever. And it's like, okay, well then if that's what you want in a few years from now, then what are you doing now to get to that place? And that's the mentality that I've been on these days. Also, I'm in therapy. As I was hanging out with my parents the other day, and they were like, you know what? You seem like you're in a really good place. And I'm like, shout out to my girl. I was finna say her name, but I'm scared you might look her up because she has like kind of a unique name. But shout out to my girl because she'd been therapizing me. And actually, also my man, like, people do premarital counseling, and that is so helpful because, like, we be walking out of there and we're like, I love you, babe. Like, it wasn't that serious, babe. Or like, she'd be just be putting us onto ourselves and the things that we be doing that we don't even notice that we're doing. And let me tell you something. A lot of you people have issues. That sounds intense. It sounds serious. And it is. A lot of you guys have things going on, lack of self-awareness going on. You're in the workplace acting a damn fool, interrupting people. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. Sometimes y'all gotta talk to a professional because I don't think you're realizing that you might be the problem. I'm realizing sometimes I might be the problem. I'm gonna add in some applause sound effects in that part. I might be the problem because sometimes you just don't realize, like, there's so many things that are within us, like growing up in a Hispanic household where it was like, you're not depressed, opens the blinds, you have 2 arms and 2 legs and you have food in a house. Like, what the hell are you sad for? And it's like, I'm sad. It's 6th grade and I don't know why, but I want to die. And it's like, is it puberty or is it me? I don't know. I say all that to say that we have things within us, perhaps because of our upbringing, that we don't even realize we're bringing into adulthood. And it's like, this is how we were raised, so this is just how we are. And it could be better. It could be better. So do you want to be this version of yourself where you could have a lot to work on and you don't even know? Or would you rather write these things down and figure out, like, how you could be the best version of yourself? I'm getting there. You see my thighs. I showed y'all. Don't make me stand up again. My man's right there. He might cover the camera or something. My legs do look great, though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm wearing boots, but it is what it is. Anyways, this is my message to the people. You know, at my job, I do a lot of public speaking. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go into this episode and I'm really good at, like, not dilly-dallying, that's not the word, but like just chatting. So like I had like some concepts in mind and I came in here and I'm like, you know what, I could drag that along. I could just say whatever comes to my mind. This is a lot harder when you don't have a co-host. Let me see if Viv's available. Maybe she has a message for you guys. She just probably got off her flight and landed in Oregon. But we'll see. Oh. One moment. Okay, here she is.
Hello, you're on speaker.
And you're on the phone with the pod.
Hi.
What? That's it?
Dang, a little heads up would have been good. I just got off my flight. I'm driving home now.
Okay, I literally was just like, you know what? I was like, you know what? Let me get Viv on here, see what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm driving home from the airport. I just took a 6-hour flight from New York.
Well, I also just want them to know that, like, we're still friends and we still love each other. It's just you moved across the country.
And also, I'm doing an air heart right now. You guys can't see it, but it's all love.
Aw, okay. All right, that's all.
I'll be back.
She will be back. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Guess what? All right, I'm so excited.
Okay, love you. I'll send you some stuff.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See? We still love each other. It's all love. She just literally moved to fuck Oregon. Like, what do you want me to do about that? Because I know a lot of you guys watch the pod for Viv, and now she's not with me, and here I am talking to myself for 38 minutes. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. All right, cheers to that. Oh my God. Damn, that's strong. And also, I don't even listen to music no more. I'm a podcast watcher. So I've been studying the craft. I've been looking at what people are doing, what people are saying. And I realize now that it works better when there is someone that you're asking questions to, but have no fear. In the next episode, I will have somebody that I'm talking to, and it won't just be me. The thing is, y'all, you know, and I don't mean to bring up Cardi B. She is the moment right now, but am I the drama? Yes, that is my life. And I do not call for it. I go to work. I come home. I go to the gym. I cook my meals. I'm trying to be healthier. Your nutrition is a really big part of like how you feel and how you sleep and how you are and how your muscles come out, you know, when you're working out. And so I've been focusing on that. And see, I just be chatting because why did I bring that up? That or my ADHD. And that brings me to, I need to get in control of my focus. This has been taking over my life. You know, growing up, my mom was like, girl, you in the air, girl. Tú estás en el aire? She would tell me in Spanish. And I'm like, you know, whatever. I didn't take it seriously. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, no, I have most of the symptoms. If you have ADHD, it presents differently if you're a woman or a man. And so in a woman, it presents itself like you interrupt people often, which I notice that I do. I'm trying to work on that because I am a good listener. But I do interrupt people because I have questions, okay? As you're telling your story, I'm like, okay, but where were you? Okay, but when did they say that? Okay, but like, how did that come about? And so I do interrupt people for clarifying questions and then also focusing. Like, my man be telling me, he's like, all right, I know I lost you. And I'm like, you're right. Because he's telling me something and I'm thinking about, that light is a little bit dim compared to the others. And then it like becomes a whole thought bubble. And then it's just a lot. What other symptoms? I mean, I'm not like an impulsive person. I know that's one of the symptoms. But if all of these are resonating with you, I'm sorry to tell you. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or nothing, but you might have to think about that. You might have to explore that a little bit. Ooh. What y'all think about my hair? Usually, as you have seen, I'm into the straight hair, but lately I'm like, this wavy stuff, it's giving Katerina Petrova. If you've watched Vampire Diaries, then you know what I'm talking about. And that's the energy that I'm giving because I'm rewatching Vampire Diaries because I really want to feel something. And because that used to be me and my sister's thing. And it's the fall season. It is the fall season. Why do people go so crazy over the fall? Like, I'm actually starting to get it. You know, growing up, my mom was like, we can't celebrate Halloween and we're turning all the lights off and no one's gonna trick or treat in our house. And you know what? You're not even going to school on Halloween, which was great, except I never had a Halloween experience until I went to college, away to college, and had a Halloween party and then dressed up. But like, I never understood the hype. And now I'm like, okay, I get it. Like fall colors, those are cute. And like the pumpkin thing, okay, that's fine. But like I painted pumpkins last week. That was fun. And like I went apple picking last year and that was cool. Like I'm like learning. I was gonna say learning to live again, but that's dramatic. I'm just in a exploratory era of life, if that makes sense. ASMR drinking break. It's funny that like I notice when I'm editing the podcast that I'm always like moving my shoulders, and that's because I can't dance. Like the bottom half, you think because I'm Hispanic that I could like, I mean, I have rhythm. I played violin for over 10 years and piano, but you would think I could move my body, but I actually have 2 left feet. And fun fact, my man also has 2 left feet. So when we're together, it's 4 left feet and it don't look good. My mom told me today, actually, we went to Trader Joe's together because I put her on. I'm like, Ma, you trying to be healthy? We've been on our healthy shit. You should come. And she's like, oh, what's this? And I was like, oh, that's I was going to say some, you know what? white people shit is not a good thing to say. It's some vegan stuff. But anyways, and she was like, you and Justin should take some salsa dancing classes. And I said, honestly, that would be beneficial to us both. And honestly, probably really fun. We like to do things that are fun together. And I just realized this whole episode has been an ADHD ramble. And when I tell my parents, hey, I think I may have gotten this from y'all, they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And then I was like reading the symptoms to my mom the other day, and she was like, She didn't say you're right, because she would never say that, but she thought about it, and that was enough for me. And so, yeah. I just want to say shout out to Nathan. He's the engineer here. He's back there just listening to me ramble. He threw the peace sign up, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, someone's behind the scenes just listening. And I'm like, maybe he thinks it's BS. Maybe he's interested. He said that my sister's story would have been good. But yes. God, yeah. Anyways, shout out to those that deal with me, because I've been realizing maybe I'm not the easiest to deal with, and like I can admit that I've been working on my accountability. My man says that that's something I could work on, and so does my therapist. And so I'll be the first to say maybe I got issues, but that's what I'm working on. And that's that. I had a really great point. I don't know what it was, but I had a really great point. Anyways, we are at, I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. And I actually really need to pee. Oh, bars. You know what else? Because let me tell you something. Speaking of negativity, there be some haters out there, like, for real. Like, I remember when I was starting this podcast in general, like, even some of my closest friends were like, you should not do this. You're trying to be somebody that you're not. And you know what I said? I'm doing this shit for fun, bruh. For fun. I'm not doing this to prove a point. I'm not doing this because I want to be like other people. And when I first started this pod, it was because it was COVID and I wanted to start a hobby. So I bought myself a mic because I used to be a singer. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get back into singing. And then my friend, co-host at the time, was like, why don't we just use the mic for podcasting? So literally we would have the mic and she would be right next to me and we'd be on her couch and we'd be like, and then she'd talk and then I'd come in and then she'd come in and talk. So we used to do that. And so literally it used to be for fun. And now I'm just doing this shit because I'm like, I've been through so much with this thing that it cannot be for nothing. Like, it can't. And even if it is, at least I had the balls to do it. I mean, I don't have balls, but at least I had the cojones to do it. And so here I am just putting myself out there. And I'm going to continue to put myself out there. And I want to put more stories out there. So if you guys have anything that you want to say and you're not afraid to say it, those are the types of people that I want to have on. I want people on that, like, aren't scared to talk their shit and aren't going to put me down because I'm not afraid. Because honestly, a lot of y'all, and I hate to be the one to tell you, I hate to be the one to be the one right now, but a lot of y'all are scared. A lot of y'all are just looking at the IG highlight reels and you're like, oh, I'm afraid to put myself out there. And I'm afraid to even support other people because I'm gonna look like I'm obsessed, or I'm gonna look like, what's the word? I don't know. But like, I'm too cool to be on somebody's body when they're pursuing their dream. Well, guess what? What are you doing? Are you pursuing your dream? Are you guys out here fucking taking a risk? I feel like I'm a vessel. You know, God has chosen me. And maybe he's chosen a lot of y'all, but you're not using your full potential. And so think about that and what your purpose is so that you can harness that energy and put it out there. Y'all are not working on your fitness because you're afraid. Because it's hard. That's the message and that's the tea. And I'm happy y'all are back and listening. And I guess that's the message. Like, be the vessel that you are meant to be. Do not be afraid. Do not think you're too cool. I want to be with people that are not afraid to be themselves. Like, I want to talk to people that are not afraid of what people think because they're confident in themselves. And even if they're not confident in themselves, they're comfortable putting themselves out there. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting myself out there for y'all. And you know what? Women should be able to talk about their health issues publicly, especially if they fucking went to school for health promotion and wellness management. And if they're a health facility. The contract says I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I'm not being specific. Anyways, I might still sue your asses. If I want to put my business out there, that's my business. Am I talking about my workplace? No. Is it affecting me at work? No. Is it in the contract? No. Did I break any rules? No. They're afraid I'm gonna sue. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I was just chatting this entire episode and I'm happy that we're back and I'm happy that you're listening. And I'm about to gag you with this next episode. Thanks for listening to XYXX. Follow us on everything. And shout out Need to Know Studios. Shout out Nathan. And shout out my man.
The weather cold. The weather's...